Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. This is Newspaper Review. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I am Chukuma Okoro. Thanks for joining us again.
And I'm Jane Ogoye. Thank you for being with us.
And of course, Daily Finding joins the conversation as well. Good morning to you.
My pleasure.
Now let's run into the papers. Let's see what the papers have for us this morning. This day newspaper has these headlines. Diplomacy. Tinubu plays the Remy card on Trump. Christian pastor, soft power. U.S. President acknowledges Nigeria's First Lady at America's prayer meeting. Says his administration hitting terrorists very hard. He actually did describe her as, a pastor, yes. So, other headlines here. Nigeria key into $7.7 trillion global halal market as national economy strategy is launched. All right, I'll take that one again, and I'd like Chukuma to dive into this one. So that's why I'm calling your attention.
Okay.
Nigeria keys into $7.7 trillion global halal market as national economy strategy is launched. Tinubu assures it will unlock $12 billion economic value for Nigeria. Position nation as halal-friendly tourism destination. Oduwole to chair strategy committee. I might just read a little into it.
Yes.
Okay, so President Bola Tinubu yesterday launched Nigeria's national halal economy strategy aimed at positioning the country to tap into the $7.7 trillion global halal market and diversify its economy. Now, the president described the unveiling of the strategy as a signal of Nigeria's readiness to join the world in grabbing a huge chunk of the global halal economy already embraced by leading nations. He said, the strategy also clearly defined Nigeria's direction within the markets, expected to add an estimated $1.5 billion to the country's gross domestic products, GDP, by 2027. Oh, well. I'll probably get into more of this, but what are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thought is, as it has always been, that sometimes I see these things as sound bites, you know. It's just ordinary sound bite. For lack of what to say, the president has to say it.
Okay, let me take this part. I'm going to take this too. Now, the president added that it is also the product of deliberate partnership developed with the Halal Products Development Company, a subsidiary of the Saudi Public Investment Fund, alongside Daral Halal Group Nigeria, with technical backing from institutions such as the Islamic Development Bank and the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa. Tinubu's recent state visit to Republic of Turkey further reinforced Nigeria's commitment to developing a globally competitive halal ecosystem. The government said, now, a major outcome of that visit was the signing of an agreement in the field of halal quality infrastructure between Nigeria and Turkey, aimed at strengthening standards accreditation, certification, and quality assurance system to enhance international acceptance of Nigerian halal products and services. Commenting on the unveiling, Chairperson of National Halal Strategy Committee, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, said the launch of Nigeria National Halal Strategy was a public-private collaboration that involved extensive interaction with stakeholders. Anyway,
okay.
I guess I'll just...
Basically, that's what it is. Like I said, it's I'm not enthused because as far as I'm concerned, it's all the whole issue of sound bites. You know, the president had to say what he said, apparently because of, well, he had opportunity to say that. And let's even start by defining what halal means. You know, halal has to do with, and the ordinary meaning is like Islamic dietary structure, but at the higher level, it has to do with something that does with businesses with Islamic communities.
With Islamic communities.
Islamic countries and all of that. It is not a new thing. This is not the first time we are doing it. We have been doing sukuk. You know sukuk. Sukuk is also Islamic. We also have the Jaiz Bank here in Nigeria that offers interest-free loans. Nigeria is a secular state. There's no problem with Islamic countries coming here to do business with us like halal and sukuk. After all, we also have, you know, companies from the Western world, IMF, World Bank, largely Western and Christian-dominated entities, you know, coming here to do business. It's a free space. You know, what we should say is a measure of civilization in all of this. If the potential is there, there is no problem in harnessing it. But the greater problem people have is that when these things come to Nigeria, it tends to reinforce, you know, the belief, the perception by some people that there is a tacit movement, you know, to Islamize Nigeria. And when the government finds it difficult to fight insecurity, people ordinarily say, oh, you see what we are saying and all of that. You know, so this is what is happening. So when I say it is soundbite, you know, from the president, I mean, tap into what? 7.7 what? I mean, nobody is excited. Have we tapped into AGOA, African Growth Opportunities Act? Have we tapped into AFTA, African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and all of that? So these things are always, we have the Millennium Cooperation Challenge, you know. We have the, you know, if you go to America, America has very well-rounded packages for Africa. How many of those have we tapped into? So it's just about sandbars. Out of that 7.7 trillion naira, Nigeria at the end of the day might get something less than 0.5%. So it doesn't make sense. And I keep saying the only people that can develop Nigeria is Nigerians. are Nigerians. If you go back in recent history, countries that have been developed, talk about China, talk about India, talk about Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, like Thailand, like Indonesia, like Singapore, and all of that. They are the people that developed the countries themselves. How many, in fact, what they even do is to export talents, like what China is doing. If you go to the UK now, I mean, China is practically taking over the auto industry with companies like Tata doing very well. If you go to Silicon Valley, 65% of the eggheads there is supplied by Indians in every way. You know, and so that is what we have. And we have this asset of population. We have, I keep saying that Nigeria boasts of the most educated diaspora community in the United States of America, Canada, and UK. For every 10 Nigerians you meet in the streets of the United States, 6 are likely to have doctorate degrees. And it counts. And so we pride ourselves in that. So if we keep waiting until we tap into this, tap into that, we even have resources that people should come in, tap into and help and develop ourselves. But we keep running to other people. We practically cap in hand. We have outsourced everything. We have outsourced our military, now intelligence. We have outsourced our judiciary. We have outsourced our manufacturing. We have outsourced our education. Practically everything outsourced. And we live at the mercies of other people. It's not good. Look at how we moved from number 4, from number 1 to number 4. I'm happy that we are inching back to number 3 now. And so, and we keep, it should become sustainable and not just a bounce back. It should be sustainable to the extent that we'll go back to number 1 where we were and reclaim that glory as the giants of Africa. That is what we should be, the most populated black country in the world. And we are just tossing ourselves upside down. We are even running to Hungary. We are signing agreements. I told you yesterday, the economy of Lagos is bigger than that of Hungary. It's just that they are organized. And we can do better than them. But we are running to them to sign agreements. And the presidential spokesperson are very proud to say, look, we have signed agreements with Hungary. Hungary is a third-rate European country that shouldn't even compare to Lagos or even River State economy. But here we are. Quite unfortunate. Just sound bad as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there's nothing much to say other than to add that we are tired of putting up bubbles in the air. Rather, we want something concrete. There are so many things that can be done in Nigeria that other countries will look our way. For instance, the steel industry in Nigeria is so massive. Almost 30% of revenue in Russia is from steel. And this steel industry would attract, in fact, you don't even have to beg anybody to come. They will naturally come. Because the basic economics is nearness to raw material.
Raw materials, yes.
And so car manufacturing companies will want to come. They will start by assembling and then they will start manufacturing. We have everything that will serve us in good stead to have this in our country. And we have some other things that other countries should look up to. But unfortunately, the way Africa is structured is, we are going back to another round of slavery, but sophisticated slavery, where you have large mineral deposits in Africa is where there is trouble today. Talk of DRC, talk of Nigeria, talk of Kenya, you know, almost everywhere where you find those people that have some moment of respite are the people that don't really have much in their soil. And they play out all these things, religion, ethnicity, and all that. Look at what happened to Rwanda. In less than 3 months, over 800,000 people in a country that is landlocked. And look at what is happening to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Up till today, that country has not benefited from its God-given raw materials, mineral resources. And Nigeria is gradually moving towards that. And then somebody is going out to say he's signing the lab. What if you sign bilateral trade agreement and then there is no security here to allow you land? what is the essence of going out to seek some of these things? Because they are not also blind and deaf.
They are not.
They are not blind and deaf.
I'm happy that Dele mentioned something. He talked about the steel industry. Let me just say go a little bit off and come back. You know, there is sometimes I wonder if our leaders actually read. If they read, you know, as in we have very educated people. It's one thing to be educated, is another to be well read. We have this book by Jared Diamond. I talked about Jared Diamond the other day, you know, Evolutionary Biology, second to Charles Darwin by my own assessment. He wrote a book called Guns, Gems, and Steel. Guns, Gems, and Steel. How Europe conquered the entire world, you know. And that book was written in 1982. And you have something like another edition of that book by Ian Morris, you know, Why the West Rules Now. And he talks about steel, guns, gems, and steel. I'm going to talk about the steel aspect of it. The development of steel is what propelled Europe into industrialization. And that book was written in 1982. Look at what is happening recently. And our own steel industry has remained not just comatose, but dormant. Let's go to Brazil. See what Brazil is doing with steel. See what Russia is doing with steel and gas. And these are the two things that we have that we could use to control the economy of West Africa and Africa. Yet we allow it dormant. We politicize the whole thing. Somebody wants to develop it like, you know, the whole issue of Natasha's problem.
You know,
is around
the steel industry.
The steel industry. You know, why would she now take it to the North Central and all of that? Meanwhile, it was situated in the North Central.
Because the raw material
because of proximity to raw materials. Do you know what will happen if our steel industry was very well developed? Innocent doesn't need to import
anything.
Other car manufacturing companies will come here. We are talking about meters. Every component that you need, we have it here.
The uranium component for manufacturing meter is here. It's in Adamawa.
Everything. We are talking about lithium batteries. Mostly you talked about lithium the other day.
There's lithium here.
Large deposits of lithium here in this country. Is it? I don't even know where to start. Is it population asset? Is it the ocean, our shorelines, the intellectual base, and everything? We have everything but unfortunately we have turned everything to a cost. So if we, as long as we leave that steel industry undeveloped, we'll keep running to sign one agreement. Look at Turkey. Look at us going to Turkey to sign an agreement with Turkey. Turkey of which day? Turkey of Kemal Atatürk. The other day. It's disheartening.
Disheartening indeed. But let's move on to other headlines here. We have, we talked about this already, but the headlines are on the JD, so just mention. And if you have contributions if you have anything to add, feel free to do so. Opposition wants democracy on the brink over Senate's refusal to clearly mandate real-time upload of results. It also appears on The Guardian. It says, Senate's Electoral Act, Senate decision triggers outrage, doubts over 2027 elections. And The Punch has the same headline. Electoral Act, opposition pushes back as e-transmission faces firestorm. Well, that's the headline there. Let's take some of the headlines too. Okay, go ahead. Let's have some there.
Okay, on the front page of The Punch, Kwara massacre, UN condemns killings as Turkey pledges support. Tinubu meets governors, northern senators demand security overhaul. IG deploys tactical team. Respected woman, Trump hails Remi Tinubu at US prayer breakfast. PDP crisis, Makinde camp fumes as INEC recognizes VK block. Electoral Act, opposition pushes back as e-transmission faces firestorm. Kaduna abduction, 183 freed victims recount ordeal. Government pledges rehabilitation. Those are the front pages, major stories.
Speaking about the VK story, the PDP story, it also appears on the cover page of The Guardian. It says, VK-backed PDP faction attends INEC meeting with political parties.
Yes, there's even a story that says the other faction is fuming that the INEC has recognized the weaker faction. So, but before we get into the weaker faction, I would like to talk about the outrage that has greeted the Kwara massacre. Outrage. Sound bite. You know what will happen? That outrage will die by middle of next week when another set of people are killed in another part of this country. So we'll stop talking about Kwara now. We'll probably move to that spot. And the president will say, move troops.
That's why I faulted this taking battalion to...
And then they say IGP has dispatched tactical team to that place. So by the time, there's another incident somewhere, what we'll hear is the president will say, Minister of Defense, Chief of Defense Staff, relocate to that location. And the moment they go there, they'll strike elsewhere. And we'll keep talking. So it's just soundbite. The outrage will die down. This is Nigeria. We are used to it.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Now, talking about the Wike faction, and when I saw it, I laughed. Wike said, the Wike faction has fixed their own convention. Local government, state congresses for February, and then March 28, 29 for the elective national convention, where they will now elect the national leaders of the party. So.
Well, the writers here on the cover page there's something interesting here. It says the writers are Usman makes history as first female party chair. That's Nanadi Usman.
Nanadi Usman, yes.
Speaking about
the Labour Party. Labour Party, yes.
Okay, yes.
That's the Labour Party.
IPAC wants elections same day as INEC registers 2 new parties. Yawada makes case for security personnel, journalists, other voters. Okay.
So on the weaker part of it, the problem in the PDP is not about to end. Remember that Taminu Turaki is the senior advocate of Nigeria. He said, well, gentlemen, party faithful, calm down. We are going to appeal this case. But I'm surprised up until now, I've not seen that they went to court to obtain a stay of execution. Meanwhile, I hear that Wike and co went to INEC meeting and that INEC has recognized them as the authentic leadership, the authentic faction of the PDP. So when INEC offers the recognition, you need to do a lot of work, to withdraw that recognition. Because you recall what happened with ADC during the Ralph Mosu thing. And David Mark, it took a while, after a lot of back and forth, before INEC had to upload, the names of David Mark. And it had also happened in the Labour Party. Even when the Supreme Court had given a judgment that, look, Julius Abure, your tenure has expired. You are no longer the national chairman of the Labour Party. It took a very long while, and up until this moment, on top of my head, I'm not sure whether it's been affected, that change in the INEC portal. But Nanadi Usman becoming the first...
it's been affected. For her to be named as,
the first Labour Party, the first female chairman
of a party in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. It is a good thing. I would like to stay with PDP. Now, Wike seems to be fighting from all fronts. And he seems to be winning.
He's a strong man.
He's a strong man. He seems to be winning. Very strategic fighter, Wike is fighting in FCT. He seems to be winning. Wike is fighting in the PDP. He seems to be winning. Wike is fighting in River State. He seems to be winning. And there's an intel. A lot of people don't know that Wike is in control of the Plateau State PDP and the government. Yes. Because he installed Caleb Muftuan. And he was the one that asked Caleb to move over to APC. That's an information that a lot of people don't have. And, well, security information around is that, well, leave those 2 states for Wike. Leave River State and Plateau State for Wike. The issue here is that how our democracy should be structured.
Is that how
like this we go today? Now like this we go today, because we seem to be making 2 steps forward and 6 steps backwards. Look at what we are discussing. We are discussing electronic transmission of votes. What happened during the tax reforms is repeating itself. Now, nobody's even talking about the tax reforms again. Events have overtaken that one. And yesterday, when I got confused, I ran to Ghana. And Ghana has this hybrid system where it is possible for you to use electronic transmission, please use it. Where it is not, you do manual upload, And the people respected it. And after the election, we didn't hear that Akufo went to court against Mahama and all registered. And so 2 political parties, by unknown quantities, unknown entities, are the ones that are registered. So it clearly shows that if they had waited, for their parties to be registered, they will be caught, napping. Yeah. They won't be registered. So it's all about the politics of exclusion, creating entry barriers, for the members of the opposition to get into active participation in politics. And it is not good. It doesn't help build a very strong and stable democracy.
Indeed, indeed. All right. You want to add something to that? All right, then. So let's take...
I'm tired of this wicked honestly. Because...
Let's talk about Tinubu's wife.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
You talk about it now.
You are the analyst.
We are all analyzing.
We are all analysts. You are a woman. Soft sport, soft politics. You know when they say soft politics?
If the president will not be entertained, as it seems, in the White House, and then the wife can now go there and she's going there.
Pastor.
So you can also send a message to her that she will deliver to the Congress in the US. So over to you, man.
Let's take a peep into that story. The prayer conference. Washington prayer conference. Was she in Washington and met on it, or did she set out from here to go and pray in Washington and all of that?
Okay. So, U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday acknowledged the presence of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, as he spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, highlighting her faith, leadership, and role in religious life. The annual event, attended by members of the UN Congress, religious leaders, and international guests, featured Trump. And he said, "We are honored to be joined today by the First Lady of Nigeria, who also happens to serve as a Christian pastor at the largest church in Nigeria, that's the Redeemed, a very respected woman. First Lady, please, where are you? Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much." Yeah. And then he goes on, Mrs. Tinubu is an ordained pastor of the RCCG, founded by Pastor Adeboye.
Okay, now I get the meat of the story. I mean, it's ordinary protocol extended to a first lady of a country. You know, I don't know how many other first ladies
National
were there.
Prayer Breakfast.
National Prayer Breakfast. Yes, it's a congressional prayer caucus. They hold it from time to time. You know, so and the evangelicals feature prominently in all of that. So as far as I'm concerned, now I understand the meat of the story. It's just a courtesy, precedence, protocol extended to a visiting first lady, you know, to that country. It's about diplomacy, and you don't expect Trump will not ordinarily go out of his way, the kind of person that he is, and say, "Oh, you are here and your country is this and that." But he avoided all of that and said, you know, courtesy, because maybe it was in a prayer session. If it were
I like the maybe there.
it was in a prayer session. But all good. If she was invited and she went to pray, she has called for prayers here too. Yes. One has been calling for prayers. We have been praying for this country. But the Bible that I read tells me that faith without work is useless. I mean, we can pray on and on and on. If we don't do the right things, our prayers will not solve up.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news.
Reviewing, the report says the federal government is in the final stage of reviewing the revenue allocation formula across the 3 tiers of government, as well as the remuneration of political office holders. And we hear that very soon we will conclude. We have done everything. We are just about to finish analyzing the data and bring it before you. Remuneration of political office holders is completed. We have submitted it through the SGF, to Mr. President. We hope that very soon this will be transmitted to you so that it becomes law. Of course, your own doesn't require any legislation. It's for ministers and others. We are also on vertical and horizontal revenue sharing formula. We will conclude it this year. That's coming from Shehu of Ramfak.
Yes.
So
you know, as at the time it came up that time, my position was that, well, it wasn't necessary at that moment because they were asking us to tighten our belts.
yes,
And
They keep loosening their own.
Keep loosening their own, you know. As we perforate, they close, you know. So I said it was unnecessary. And my position at that point was that, look, the day they will implement these things, that we will not know.
yes.
So it's important to understand that it has been frozen all this while. The committee has been working on it, so it wasn't actually implemented. So it's not as if it's a new one. It's the work of that committee that was set up. Now they are coming up with this. And my clear answer to this should be, they shouldn't implement it.
One of the arguments at that time was that civil servants were not earning enough. Minimum wage was, really nothing to write, has been nothing to write home about. And we've been talking, Labour has been talking about wage awards. Wage award was introduced at some point, but Labour has been talking about a living wage.
Okay.
And we know what our politicians take home. Let's even forget salaries. I think they should stop talking about salaries and remuneration.
Because they don't even touch their salary.
They don't even touch it.
They don't even touch
They have
their
other
salary.
benefits, other perks of office. They have monies flying into their emails and the rest of them. So they don't touch it. So why are they looking to even increase it?
These political office holders, they are more like...
Is this because elections are around the corner?
No, that kind of money will
But
not have them.
2024 elections were not around the corner.
Well, that was...
It's not that they want to take more. They want to take more. It's greed. Political greed. They want to take more and more and more. And anytime the issue of
where they raise money to
increase in minimum wage,
No.
the National Assembly goes very silent. They go very silent over it. They don't even discuss
regardless of party affiliations.
They
all just go quiet.
So it's just about greed and selfishness. When you read this story, I thought you were going to talk about, because that committee is also, RAMFAC is also working about, changing the sharing formula between the three tiers of government, so that the federal government will take more.
That was what they still take more.
They'll take more than what they are taking now.
Yes, 52.86%.
Good.
To the federal government.
To the federal government. So they are asking to increase it from 52 and reduce that which goes to the states and the local government areas. And everybody understands that local government is the grassroots, the closest, government to the people. But there remain the appendages of the state governors. And what are the state governors doing? The state governors, yesterday, within the week, it was in the news, 9.7 trillion naira shared between the states. In how many? So if the states got 9.7 trillion naira, my mathematics is not very good. So how much will the federal government have received within? It should be in excess of 10, 11 trillion naira.
11 to 12 trillion
naira.
Should be
We
also
also ask the federal government, what did they do with their own? Because even at that, we are still being harassed and embarrassed in our missions outside, because we are owing not just salaries, we are also owing house rents.
It's a big shame.
It's a big
for a
shame.
country like this, for us to be disconnected from power just because we are owing in faraway South Africa. South Africa that we were shipping money to some 3 decades ago, trying to fight apartheid and all that.
What we normally do is to export our inefficiencies here outside. I told a story. It's a very short story. Let me repeat it here. When I was doing my master's project, so I needed to reach out to Nigerian commissions and embassies outside. I called. I took Ghana. I got the phone number of Nigerian embassy in Ghana. I called and called and called and called. Nobody picked it. I called the Nigerian embassy in Gambia. I called and called and called, and nobody took the call. I said, let me try something different. I got the number of the American embassy in Ghana. I called. I just want to spam. Someone picked the call. I said, country, this is a country. I tried the same thing. The American embassy in Ghana, one thought someone picked the call. I called the UK embassy, the UK High Commission in Ghana, someone picked the call. I called the UK High Commission in Gambia, someone picked the call. I went back and dialed Nigeria, the thing rang out.
They're having a meeting at the time.
Okay, they were having a meeting. Can you imagine?
They're probably having a meeting at the time. All right, some more headlines here. Electoral Act, Senate. Okay, I think we've taken that one. Let's take this one. Well, this is on
about the PDP
insecurity.
crisis?
Yes, we've touched on the PDP crisis. After 160 deaths in Kwara, Tinubu holds emergency talks as leaders demand action. Trump says U.S. confronting campaign against religious believers. Northern governors condemn killings, urge decisive security response. DHQ links Woro massacre to rejection of extremist indoctrination. There you have it. Abdulrazak orders emergency relief, confirms deployment of soldiers. Obi decries killings, calls for nationwide war on insecurity. Gani Adams renews call for state police after Kwara bloodshed. Yoruba youth group, Amnesty International, warn over rising violence. All right, so I think we've had quite a reaction to some of those. We do have another headline here. This is from the Punch newspaper. It's, well, there's a table that explains this one. It says, inside Zamfara's 87 billion naira health budget. Inside Zamfara's 87 billion naira health budget. 21.1 billion naira emergency and health system support. And then you have 20 billion naira emergency response fund on health, 1 billion naira purchase of medical equipment to meet the standard of MSP, 65 million naira procurement of quality control laboratory equipment. You know, it goes on. We have 20.3 billion naira allocated for PHC services across 14 local government areas. That's in Zamfara State, of course. 1 billion naira for Shinkafi. These are the local government areas and how the 20.3 billion naira will be shared. 1 billion naira for Shinkafi. 1 billion naira for Bakura. 1 billion for Marajun in Naira. Kaura Namoda, 1.5 billion naira. Benin Magaji, 1 billion naira. Bungudu, 1.5 billion naira. Talata Mafara, 1.5 billion naira. Anka, 1 billion naira. Bukuyum and also Gusau, 1 billion naira. And then the 1.5, we have Safe, you have Maru and Gumi. All of those are 1.5 billion naira allocated for PHCs, that's primary health centers. And okay, well, that's basically the story. 250 million naira basic healthcare provision fund, provision of basic healthcare to rural facilities in Zamfara State.
Okay, now, Dene is a healthcare expert here, so he's going to talk about that. But before we talk about health, Moses, there's an item you read out here, and the item is about the state police, talking about the state police. You know, I said it before, and I like to repeat myself. It would be a near impossibility to have state police in the first tenure of this administration. And if the president, the sitting president, if he has to bring about state police, it will be in the second term. Do you know why? It is very clear to me. The state, the police is the ultimate instrument of state control. When you talk about how strong a state is within, in terms of internal security, that is what you use to measure the strength, or what you use to measure the strength of internal stability is the strength of the police. If you come to Nigeria here, the North is in control of the state police. And the North will not allow you to have state police, because the moment they lose that ultimate instrument of state control, then that hegemony they are trying to build, preserving, will be lost. It will become difficult, to send someone from Sokoto as the state commissioner of police in Ondo State. it will be difficult to send someone from Adamawa or from Borno State as the State Commissioner of Police in Abia State. So they won't let it happen. That is why anytime they go to the National Economic Council meeting, they put it in their agenda. They don't talk about it.
All right.
So,
Well, before I take your response now, we're being joined by Engineer Wakili from Abuja. Good morning to you. Welcome to Newspaper Review.
Good morning, sir.
Good to have you. Well, I do believe that you've been following the conversation, and you had the headline that we just read out. Let's have your contribution to it.
Yeah, come again.
I said, I do believe that you have been following the conversation, and you have the headline that we just read out. That's on primary healthcare centers, Zamfara State. This basically speaks to what the government of Zamfara State has earmarked for primary healthcare centers in the state. It goes to the tune of 21.1 billion naira. Well, the headline is inside Zamfara's 87 billion naira healthcare budget and how the monies will be spent and spread around the different, the 14 local governments in Zamfara State. What's your reaction to that headline?
Thank you once again for being part of the conversation. I remember Engineer Kaura Joseph, the advocates of senior advocate for the persons with disability, and I remain the chairman of Joint FCT. With this analysis that just the first and foremost, I want to know the percentage given to allocated for persons with disability in Zamfara State. Is there anything, a number given to persons with disability to be benefited in the Zamfara State? Because you have just said that how the money will be spent out. Now, how will they spend it? Are persons with disability come along? This is what I want to.
Well, I was hoping that you would tell me if persons with disabilities are carried along in this regard, but I think they are, because it's for primary healthcare centers. It basically brings healthcare closer to the people. So, well, this is what the government has set aside. Yeah. If you are you in touch with your association in Zamfara? Do you know what their plight is? Do you know what they are clamoring for in terms of getting health care, getting medical attention as when needed? Do you know what they are saying in Zamfara State? I know you're joining us from Abuja.
As it is now, in Zamfara State, we are all over 36 state plus FCT. All the state has structures across the association, which I am representing. And I believe the Zamfara State also have it. And I don't know.
Okay, all right then. Well, thank you very much.
It's the same plight we are pursuing as Nigerian concern.
Okay.
If anything, as a person with disability, anything that has to do with Nigerian person with disability is the same. We are the same.
Yes, indeed. Oh well. Well, I do believe that government will, do the needful in terms of reaching your needs and ensure that everyone, every Nigerian is attended to. Well, thank you very much, Engineer Wakili. Well, let's touch on some of the headlines here. Edo APC, Oyegun Baker, over alleged 150 million naira debt. We also have businesses battle rising costs as confidence weakens in January. I was going to take this story. This has to do with the tax law, how that has affected businesses in the first month of the year. A lot of businesses are not certain of how the implementation will be, and
even the workers in the tax office, they don't even understand it.
Honestly,
That is the truth.
Honestly, because a few that I've spoken to,
Talk to them, they don't understand.
They don't understand it.
The tax, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The tax reforms. They don't understand it. Oh, well, So, what are your thoughts on this? But let me take some other headlines, and then you might just choose the ones to react to. Nexon XMD Robert Oya jailed 10 years for 2.4 billion naira fraud. And then we have...
No, I think it was 490 years. The concurrent pronouncement is what the Guardian is reporting.
Okay.
Cumulatively, it is
490
years. I don't know if we have to reincarnate about 10 times to serve out his term.
Let's have your reaction to the headline.
Dele was supposed to say something about the health.
Yes, I was supposed to say something about the health issue. You see, for me, the question that bothers me is the state government not going to use local government resources to fund PHC? Because statutorily, it is the local government that is saddled with the responsibility of taking care of PHCs. That's why it's called primary health centers. Whereas the state is supposed to take care of secondary health centers, which are the state general hospital and state specialist hospitals. And in Zamfara, they have only 16. And to rehabilitate these 16 hospitals, the whole of Zamfara state, just 16 state hospitals. And to rehabilitate it at the cost of 200 million naira per one. That amounts to 1.8 billion for this year. Where is this money coming from? That should be the first question. And who is going to be saddled with the responsibility of monitoring and evaluating what is on ground and what they are likely to bring? Because at the end of the day, this money may end up in private pockets. And when you now begin to have two contending state actors over a particular project, it becomes a very huge problem. I would have expected that, apart from these statistics, they should tell us where the funding will be drawn, so that we will now know. Because at the end of the day, you just find out that after the whole exercise, money will be deducted from source, from local governments. And they will not have a say on who is spending, the contractor that will come, the people that will implement the procurement of drugs and consumables and all that. At the end of the day, this is the reason why local governments will continue to be struggling under the jackboots of state governors.
Oh, well. You have anything you want to add?
I'm not a health expert.
All right, then. Well, this will... Pardon? No. Oh, well. Well, I think we've touched on all the headlines from the dailies. So it's pretty much how far we can go on newspaper headlines today. This is where we wrap it up. Thank you very much, Daily Fanimo, for your time.
That was my pleasure.
And also a big thanks to Engineer Wakili, who joined us later. I think you were able to join earlier in the day, but thank you for still obliging. We do appreciate you. Chukwuma Okoro makes a comeback later tonight at 6 p.m. on Political Lens. And right after that, on Political Lens, they will travel around the nation, bring you political stories. And after that, he will enjoy his Thank God Is Friday that he stated earlier in the day. Oh, well, Jane also.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. See you guys on Monday.
I know you can't wait to go home. But yes, we'll be here again, God willing, Monday morning, bright and early. But we do have programs. VOP this morning will come your way. It's the weekend edition of VOP this morning. Morning Boss, that's what it's called. Comes your way tomorrow morning. You don't want to miss out on that one. Promises to be interesting as well. But for this morning, 11 o'clock on the DOT, Sports comes your way. I am Moses Humphrey. Wishing you a beautiful Friday. Bye for now.
VOP TV. Now You have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education,